Sorry. Hello. Slight delay in part 3 of stream number 14. We're continuing where we left off the last time, and it's forelimbs. So I'm going to do a couple more touch-ups of the tips of the claw, and we'll call it a day for the claw. Then I'm switching on to the foot, and hopefully that's it. Then we can, once the foot is done, we can start doing the color. Oh, stupid mosquitoes. Mosquitoes. Drinking blood from my body. looking good. Good evening, good sir or ma'am. Well, so yesterday or no, a couple days ago when I had one stream, so there was a talk on a subject of what if dinosaurs never extinct, and what if humans evolved, and so this scenario, it'll be like it'll be really interesting to see, how these two species would have been coexisting. I mean, we probably wouldn't be able to, evolve uh, in such a way that we did. We'd be like maybe we'd be still, if possible, like maybe we'd still be in a stage of rocks and spears and arrows or something like that. Or like maybe not evolved humans, but maybe we'd still be like hanging around from trees and stuff like that. We might in this scenario where dinosaurs would be still living, we might not had the chance to like walk down from trees, whatever, and it's just amazing to think about these things. Like when you compare dinosaurs, like with modern birds, and if we look at cassowary, a so a pissed off cassowary can do a lot of damage. It doesn't necessarily have to be pissed off. It can do a lot of damage to an adult man if it wants to. And so it's really not that difficult to imagine what one, like 10 meters long theropod would have been able to do. What How strong that animal like would have been, and how devastating it could have been for our environment and for us. So today during the breakfast I also caught a small glimpse of some sort of documentary, not even a real documentary, um, about the most dangerous and most deadly wild animals of our planet, and they were talking about hippos in Africa, and these guys are on, like making the biggest death toll regarding a man compared to any other mammal animal out there. And so I'm not sure if it's the biggest, but certainly it's up there. And again, one interesting example to compare to, like, in hippos, they're like, they're not even close regarding the size, to some of the larger theropods and, sauropods. So it just it sort of becomes surreal, when you start to think about how colossal and how big some of these animals were. Just, I think my brain would probably have some difficulties to, when if I'd be able to see a live dinosaur, that would be a pretty big chunk of, information to process. And I would just, love to see how how that would go. Like, how would I be able? How well would I process? Take in all this. Alright, so the last claw, and we'll switch to the feet. Oh man, just somehow I'm having difficulties to express myself when I'm sort of fantasizing about dinosaurs and some aspects of dinosaurs. Oh, I would have just done anything if I could somehow, see or know or have knowledge of like whether like how did Tyrannosaurus Rex look like? Did it have a type of feather fuzz? Did this integument thing changed over the lifespan of the animal, or some other closer related dinosaurs had it, sort of like Tarbosaurus or Albertosaurus, or I'm not sure, what other Tyrannosauridae animals were there. And so that these things like, the feathery fuzz that it have, like the relatively newly discovered Utyrannus Holly, I think. So yeah, there's still so many unknowns regarding Tyrannosaurus Rex. Like, whether the animal was solitary or social, whether it was a scavenger or a hunter. How did it vocalize? How did Tyrannosaurus Rex sound like? This is something that would be so cool to know. How fast actually could have been? Like, how fast could it move? How long did it live? How did the male and female Tyrannosaurus Rex did it? Like the coitus mating. So if there is like someone to offer you $50 million, like 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 $50 million, no tax, nothing, like it's all yours, or um, some sort of time traveling device, and one day in a life of Tyrannosaurus Rex. So you'd be sort of teleported back in time, and like positioned so that be you would appear in a close proximity of, I don't know, Tyrannosaurus Rex nest or whatever. You'd be. It's like 100% guaranteed that you'll be able to see them and sort of keep with them during that 24-hour period. Sort of, you're just imagine being in a sort of invisible. I'm sorry. Invisible flying bubble, and you can move in any direction you want. You can move as fast as you want, and you can move as close as you want to these animals. And you won't be able to, in the scenario that you're taking the time travel, you won't be able to record or take any video, audio with any type of gadget. You just what you see and hear with your own eyes and ears, and that's it. So what would you choose? I think from this perspective, from where I'm sitting right now and thinking about it, there's like not a second, like there's not a grain of like doubt whether like I would have chosen the time traveling, maybe, for sure. Imagine like you take a, I don't know, $50 million, and I think sooner than later it would dawn on you that you were like in a position to really like be the first and last human to witness dinosaurs, a king of dinosaurs, and to really see how did it look. What how did it live, and you'll be able to basically get many answers during those 24-hour period about dinosaurs. And I think like in my case, if I would somehow chosen the $50 million, I think I would have a like I'm not sure what the word is, regret for the rest of my life, probably, and wondering what I've missed and how did the Tyrannosaurus Rex looked, and not knowing, and not ever being able to undo this. Yeah, I'm not sure. did we do it? It's saved, alright. Now we're switching to the but. But, 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 but. So, this guy had a phalanx. I think it's this. That's the way of pronouncing it. All right. And it had a little bit longer, like toenails, claws. Oh, hey man. I'm kinda late a little bit, but still here. So yeah, I was thinking to myself right now, and to all the future viewers, potential viewers on YouTube. So if you had an option to either like get a $50 million, like clear money, clean money, you know, no tax, no nothing, like round $50 million that you get and you keep, or a 24 hours with a real Tyrannosaurus Rex, like, you know, you'll be sent in time via some sort of teleportation device, and you'd sort of have some sort of like stealth suit, or you know, some sort of gadget, transportation gadget that you can, you know, some sort of quadcopter, you know, the drone or something, you know, that's invisible, that can fly to wherever and however fast, and you'd be able to, you know, study Tyrannosaurus Rex for 24 hours period. So what would you choose? All right. Yeah, that's actually what I said as well. I mean, a really no-brainer for I I'd like to believe, you know, that anyone that like ever scratched his head, you know, for, you know, a little bit more about dinosaurs would have chosen, you know, something like that. You know, I think, you know, if you would have chosen $50 million, you'd have some sort of regret for the rest of your life. You know, to have a chance to, you know, really see what that animal was really about, and you know, by seeing this animal, you'd be able to, you know, conclude and, you know, get a picture of how everything or most of it worked back in Cretaceous, and you know, realizing that you missed this opportunity to know all this is like, you know, like being, you know, the single one and only human being or whatever, you know, to be able to see dinosaurs, and like, you know, even without, you know, being able to record these animals and photograph them, or you know, record their like vocalizations and audio and stuff like that, just, you know, just to be able to see them and hear them with your own eyes and ears, and to come back to the present time, and and start putting together pictures and whatever, based on what you saw. That would be freaking amazing. I don't know, just insane. Yeah, that's this is something I was thinking also as well. Like, it'll be just crazy, crazy. Oh man, lack of words, lack of words. Like, I remember now how I first reacted when I saw a Formula One race for the first time in my life, and I sort of began like watching Formula One sports back in '99, I think, or something like that. And prior to that, I sort of hated this sport. I thought to myself, like, this has to be like one of the most boring things ever, and I couldn't just couldn't realize, there are people out there that are able to sit and wait and watch these cars, going around, around, around in a circle, and for hour and a half or 2 hours or whatever the race would take, and just like that, some switch, something, and it changed, and I started liking Formula One, and yeah, and I remember going to my first race back in 2000, and I think it was 2003, I'm not sure. And I remember the first lap, like there's this like warm up lap, and then the first lap where the racing, and where all the cars are still like packed, they're all pretty close to each other. I've got the video somewhere because I was recording. um, I remember, I remember I screamed from the top of my lungs, and my voice sort of fall apart after the first the first lap. How excited this thing was for me, and the noise that these cars produce, the deep bass noise when they switch their gears, you'd feel it in your chest, the the thumping sounds of the gearbox, and it's sort of like sort of feels like just huge stampede of something really freaking fast and angry or whatever just passed near you. And I remember how I screamed, and how like ecstatic I was for this first lap. And I I think I'm pretty sure seeing a Tyrannosaurus Rex or whatever other bigger theropod dinosaur or sauropod for the first time, I think I'd be screaming, especially if I knew, like, as you put it, I would go even without the suit, even, if they had to eat me. Like, I'm not sure if I would scream if like my situation would be compromising. Like, if I scream, they see me, they eat me. I'm not sure if I think I'd probably, try and keep it together in that case to, see them more and to experience them more. But in a case where, I'm enclosed in something, secure or whatever, some type of transportation unit or something, I think I would be screaming my freaking lungs out and, you know, uh, just, that would be incredible. Yeah, yeah, that would probably be something like that. Oh, dude. No, no, I'm really, really, really like when I'm thinking about these things, just uh, like I think I would be experiencing some primeval or whatever the word is, feelings and um, uh, emotions or whatever. Like I don't know, just some sort of real, true, uh, spiritual experience for me, or I'm not sure what to compare it to, but I know it'll be, it would be pretty intense. That's uh, that's that's so great. Yeah, when I built a life-size like replica of Velociraptor from Jurassic Park. I mean, it's not a real, like, it doesn't have anything to do with real raptors, but sort of does with maybe some dromaeosaurids, dromaeosauridae, and like Deinonychus or I don't know, Euthroraptor or some of these larger dromaeosaurs. And I remember when I finished this neck and like head, with teeth and the eyes and everything. And I remember I placed it on some sort of I leaned it onto something. I'm not sure, some sticks, something in the field near house. And I was sort of circling it and walking around it, like going a little bit further, then closing in and looking at it from all the angles and trying to imagine the entire body of the animal. And I sort of put it in such a place and in such a pose that it sort of looked like it's a complete animal, like just the body was missing and everything, but the neck is like sort of positioned so as to be in the proper height of if it was complete it would be like this. And I remember like trying to imagine like if I was able to sculpt it completely, if I had money for the rest of the materials and everything. And I remember realizing back then like how fast some of these dinosaurs must have been, like just insane. Just when you look at how fast some of the modern birds are, like ostriches and like cassowary or these big ratites, and basically most of the birds that are like terrestrial, like that do not rely exclusively on their wings to move around, like and looking at this dinosaur that I built, and you start to form a picture, an idea how freaking fast these guys probably were, when they were roaming around. Like these smaller, theropods and Trying to find a photo. Um, oh yeah, I found it. Oh yeah. Yes, I do. I have the photo of the raptor. Just a sec. Trying to figure out how to. Just a sec. Just a sec. So I'm not sure if you'll be able to see this photo. I'm not sure if we are connected via Facebook. You can hold on. You can maybe try and send me a friend request or something if you cannot see the image. Yeah, probably because the privacy of the album is such that it's not public, and if you're not friends on Facebook, yeah, you should just send a friend request, or if you'd like to see the image. Alright, let me just check. Alright. Alright, so you should be able to see the link now, probably. Hopefully. No, it's just like, one click. Yeah, so basically the only thing that I was able to really finish was, just the head and the interior of the jaws and the teeth and the eyes, as well as the tongue. But I sort of, stopped there. I couldn't finish the neck and stuff like that. Like I sort of ran out of like money for materials. Then I sort of, some time passed. Then I lost interest. You know, figured out it couldn't be done better, but again, it was too expensive to start over, and just basically how stuff goes sometimes. Yeah, it would have been pretty fun, if I was able to finish the entire thing. But at the moment when I was like building this, like the image, the photo that I've shared, this is a photo made like this is like I think 2010 maybe, and the model I made it like I think 90, 98 or 97 or 98. So at that stage the model was old, like 12 years or something like that. So uh, to like today, if I had time and basically I have the finance right now, but I don't have the time, so it's always something. So if I had time right now, I would be, I would probably, weld the like skeletal structure with the, welding machine, and I would make it, be much more rigid, and, sort of made something that could be like, positioned and placed outside as well. So the model that I made was, very flimsy, like, some thicker wire is underneath, like I think 5 millimeter wire, and well, actually, it's sort of not wire. It's like 5 millimeter or 6 millimeter rods that I bent to the shape of Velociraptor head, and then I like used the tape for packaging, the brown type of tape, and then I did the details with the acrylic silicone or something like that. But this type of model, like if you would have put it on the rain and sun, it would lasted maybe 2 3 months tops, and it would start falling apart. That's cool, man. What dinosaur did you make? I'm guessing it's some sort of carnivore. All right, all right. Pretty cool. Uh, just one of the things that I mentioned, and some other guys as well, are talking about this. So it's not maybe try and minimize the underlying skeletal like skull lines, sort of fenestra and all these parts. Uh, no, 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 no. It's pretty good. Like you're on a good way, sort of. You can just you can keep working on a model indefinitely, and so you can play with your model as well. And what I'm trying to say is try and minimize the shrink wrap effect, like sort of at the moment, like dinosaur looks like it's underfed, like it's so skinny. Sort of try and give him some muscles and some things in this skull, so it looks, yeah, more skin, like more underlying tissue, fat, muscle, whatever is like lying underneath. So like the shrink wrap type of dinosaurs is something that's been done before, and yeah, so it's basically it should be like maybe avoided. I'm not sure what the best word is, but if you compare it to modern animals, like and if you compare these modern animals with their skulls and skeletons, you'd see, you'd start to realize the thing that I'm saying. So I was speaking about this on my previous streams when I was making my first Carnotaurus model. Like I think I modeled this guy, like this dinosaur, like from scratch, starting over and over again. And each time I would finish it, and I would realize, like shit, this can be done so much better. I missed this detail. I didn't realize this is like, this, and I was like, finishing these models, and as soon as I would finish, I would realize that it can be done better, and I would start over, and so started over like, I don't know, 5 times more, not sure. So this is a, and also people, like, this is something that I learned while I was studying, and this was a good input that I got from my professor. Sort of, when you draw something and then start making mistakes, and then you use your like eraser to remove these lines that you're not satisfied with. And so my teacher told me, like, never remove your, never erase your mistakes. Just try and keep your pencil light, and do not press it hard on the paper, so it's like barely visible what you are drawing, what you are trying to define, and trying to set up this form or whatever. When we would be like, we had these drawing classes where we would drew like anatomy, like nudity, and there was a model that would come and undress for us, and they would paint it, or draw it with coal, or some other like pencils and materials. And so he would constantly come up to us and say, like, don't press, don't force your pen onto the paper, like, be gentle, and try and define these forms gently. And then once you start realizing what needs to be done, then slowly start shading, and maybe defining better these lines. And so this can be applied to ZBrush as well. Like, maybe you shouldn't try starting over. Maybe you should just play with this model, and save incrementally, so you have your first take, and so you can always come back to your origin, to your starting point, and so you can see the progress that you're making, and so that you can see maybe all these mistakes that you've made on the first take. And so yeah, I almost fallen asleep, man. I was leaning back on my chair and speaking, and there he goes. Yeah, that's like the sort of most important thing to realize. It's like you never stop learning. So basically what I just did is I took away, I've copied um, the outermost digit, and so yeah, I'm not sure what the numbering is. Like, is this a digit number one, or is this like digit number one, like sort of thumb? Anyway, so I either copied a digit 3 or 1 to the position of helix, and so I'm going to blend it in, with this new position, and basically we'll have our Therizinosaurus foot ready, which is the last detail. And then, we can start thinking about color, which I'm sort of looking forward to. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that bit. me see. So alright, let me just quickly illustrate this for you in ZBrush while we're at it. So I'm going to quickly create a dinosaur head. Yeah, like the scales, this is the last thing you should be looking for, and so you need to spend sort of substantial amount of time to set up a good base. Once you have the good base, sometimes it becomes even harder to set up a good scale flow and just natural looking scales. So we're trying to quickly build new venator or something like that. Alright, so we're going to Dynamesh. Alright, it's much better. So we need our clay brush. Let's divide the model a little bit. Let me turn on my backface masking so that I don't have issues. Oops. So let's try and create the jawline. Obviously, I do not have the skeleton or anything like that in front of me. No reference images. Just trying to sort of get your Alright, so we have more commercial shit popping down. Obviously my jawline is completely made up, but this is not the thing that I'm looking for here. Just trying to illustrate one other thing, and hopefully I'll be able to relay the message. Just a sec. So you have you have a couple of these fenestrae across the surface of the skull. They all have their names. I do not know them from the top of my head. So this is the hole that the jawline attaches, jaw muscle attaches to, and so this fenestra here, it can be a attachment point for jaw muscle, or it can carry sinus air sacs, these type of things. And then there's this middle fenestra for the eye. And what I was saying when I was commenting your model is basically these fenestra, they shouldn't be as pronounced as in your model, because it looked like your model sort of looks like an animal that's been dead for um, a certain time, and its flesh its flesh and skin started to mummify and shrink wrap around the skull. And so you should try and uh, create forms on your skull that will make us aware of that there is something beneath. But certainly not by making a deflation like this. So that's not the way to do it, because these fenestra, they were filled with tissue, and muscle and stuff like that. So now obviously I'm not an expert, but I've seen comments and I've seen other people doing this, and other more experienced like members of the paleoart community and paleontology community were commenting. So basically, you know, uh, while some of the bone features maybe should like be pronounced, like some of these structures like eyebrows and these little horn keratinose structures that might have appeared on the animal's head. Some other like skeletal like lines and features should be hidden underneath all this tissue like muscle, skin, fat, and all other, I'm not sure what type of other tissue involves, like these sinuses and these air sacs and canals, and filled with maybe some of them were filled with I'm not sure, like air or and so the nostrils as well, they need to be like, they were probably large, and they had pretty big slits for inhaling air, because these were big animals and they needed a lot of air. But these the nasal cavity of the skull was probably not deflated and like sank as much. So the thing that I'm like doing right now, it's like so your eye looks pretty good. I mean, it's a whip eye, work in progress, but it's solid start. So what you want to do is as well, you should put a small sphere inside, so you can, it'll be easier for you to sort of pull out, these eyelids, and you'll nail the eye shape much easier than, you know, when you're working just with a hole. So if you put a small sphere inside, you know, with the approximate size of, you know, what the eyeball should represent, like be, and if you do that, it'll be a lot easier for you to create that, you know. And so this area here, like this is the attachment point for this huge and powerful muscle that, you know, help the jaw, you know, to close in and, you know, crush bones and rip meat out of, you know, out of other animals. So these powerful jaw muscles, they were attached, like there were holes in here, and so this part of the skull is probably the thickest part of the skull. And you know, these places where the muscle came, though it probably, you know, sort of came inside the skull as well, you know, some of it was probably, you know, visible from, you know, on the surface of the skull as well. And the ear, I'm not sure, like, you know, some guys are doing ears like maybe on the top here, some are doing like closer to the jawline here. So this is something that's, you know, dependent on from one species to another, and there aren't no clear like signs on all skulls where this ear thing could have been. But basically you're looking at something, you want to go some, you know, take some direction, something like this, that, you know. Obviously, again, you know, this is just, you know, me modeling some theropodish head. Again, you know, these inferior parts should be, you know, dealt a little bit better. So yeah, this is something that you should, you know, like this is the way you should probably think about when you're, you know, sculpting dinosaurs. Like, you know, don't, if you're referencing off of skulls, it's good, but don't, you know, don't be too literal in your translation. Sort of just try and think about, you know, and this is not, you know, this is just a general, you know, sort of tip advice for anybody that's starting. And so, you know, if I wanted to start adding scales to this, I would have had like this is a 1 or 2 days worth of work, maybe. It depends, actually. Sometimes for me, I get it faster, I get shapes faster. Sometimes I struggle a little bit, but as long as you do not, like, you know, as long as you're not 100% sure that that's it, like, you should start, keep on, tweaking and improving the base shape before committing to detail. So this obviously I'm, exaggerating a little bit just to make a point, but so this is what I'm talking about. So this sort of looks, I don't know, deadish, and malnutritioned, and sick, and this sort of looks like powerful animal that yeah, that's it basically. So let me just delete this quickly. That's it. That's what I was saying before when I was commenting on your work. Try not to shrink wrap your dinosaurs. Oh, you're welcome, man. All right. As long as it helps, man, I'm happy. Alright, so I think I'm going to wrap up for the night. I'm going to finish this batch of skin tomorrow, and I think we'll start in color with tomorrow's stream. So thanks for keeping company, dude, and yeah, looking forward to future streams, you guys. Cheers.